In politics, a bad speech can hurt you, a bad interview can haunt you, but sometimes all it takes is one photograph. Maybe a governor relaxing on the beach while the public is locked out, or a presidential nominee posing in what looks like a bunny suit. These are the photographs that destroyed political careers. Michael Dukakis was the governor of Massachusetts and the Democratic nominee for president in 1988. His state's booming economy was called the Massachusetts Miracle. Dukakis had a reputation for being serious, careful, and rule-following. But there was one problem. He didn't really look like a commander-in-chief, so his campaign tried to fix that with a photo op. They arranged a visit to a tank factory in Michigan, but a young Dukakis campaign advance staffer named Matt Bennett saw the setup and got worried. He warned campaign headquarters that staging a photo in a tank was a terrible idea, but they told him to shut up and do his job. This would prove to be a major mistake. Dukakis ended up climbing into a 68-ton M1A1 Abrams tank wearing a large helmet with his name printed across the front. Cameras rolled as the tank drove towards the press. Dukakis was smiling and waving, but the helmet was oversized, and instead of looking tough, he looked silly and unpresidential. Reporters on the press riser even had to duck as the cannon barrel swung towards them, with ABC's Sam Donaldson reportedly doubled over laughing. The Bush campaign immediately pounced. Their spokesman joked, "Thank you very much." Soon a devastating attack ad would appear. It looped 11 seconds of Dukakis riding the tank while a narrator listed every weapon system he had opposed.
Michael Dukakis has opposed virtually every defense system we developed. He opposed new aircraft carriers. He opposed anti-satellite weapons. He opposed 4 missile systems, including the Pershing II missile deployment. Dukakis opposed the stealth bomber and a ground emergency warning system against nuclear attack. He even criticized our rescue mission to Grenada and our strike on Libya. And now he wants to be our commander-in-chief. America can't afford that risk.
Newspapers relentlessly mocked the stunt. Some called it the worst photo op in modern political history. Voters saw a man trying to play soldier. Polls showed that about a quarter of voters were less likely to support him after that tank ride. And Dukakis went on to lose in a landslide, 426 to 111 in the Electoral College. Years later, he admitted the real mistake was not responding to the attacks. But the smiling tank photo had already become a permanent lesson in politics. One bad photo can define an entire campaign.
They just gave me a little briefing on a couple of those tanks. I want to get into them. But then I remember when a man named Dukakis got into a tank. And I remember he tanked when he got into the tank. He tanked. I never saw anybody tank like that.
John Kerry was a Vietnam vet and a U.S. Senator running for president against George W. Bush in 2004. During a campaign stop at NASA's Kennedy Space Center, Kerry was offered a tour of a space shuttle. But there was a rule. Anyone entering the facility had to wear sterile protective coveralls. So Kerry suited up, head to toe in baby blue protective gear, and a NASA photographer took some pictures. The photo showed Kerry in a tight hood, goggles, and booties. Newspapers quickly ran the image on their front pages. The Washington Times and the New York Post both featured it prominently. One headline summed it up perfectly: "Boston, we have a problem." Kerry's campaign quickly protested. They accused NASA of leaking the photo. NASA pushed back, saying the images were routine and even had been shared with the campaign beforehand. But by then, it didn't matter. The photo was already spreading everywhere. The bunny suit photo reinforced a growing image problem for Kerry. Critics said he looked aloof and out of touch. The moment even reminded some people of the Dukakis tank disaster years earlier. In a close election, that image mattered. George W. Bush narrowly defeated Kerry in 2004, and the bunny suit photo became another example of how a single image can shape a campaign. Christie was a Republican congressman from Western New York. A businessman and family man, he served on the House Ways and Means Committee. But in January 2011, Lee responded to a Craigslist ad posted by a woman looking for proof that not all men on the site were toads. Lee introduced himself as a 39-year-old divorce lobbyist. In reality, he was a 46-year-old married member of Congress. And then he sent her a photo. It showed Lee shirtless, flexing one arm while holding his cell phone in the other. In the message, he described himself as very very fit, fun, classy. The woman recognized he was lying about who he was. She Googled him and realized the divorced lobbyist was actually a married congressman. Sure enough, the woman sent the photo to Gawker, perhaps trying to score a quick buck. On February 9th, the site published the photo and the messages. Within hours, he issued a statement apologizing to his family and his constituents. Then he resigned from Congress. The speed was astonishing. Chris Lee went from a little-known congressman to a national scandal, to a former member of Congress in less than 4 hours. Ralph Northam was a pediatric neurologist and the governor of Virginia. In February 2019, the conservative website Big League Politics published a photograph from Northam's 1984 medical school yearbook page. The image showed two people, one wearing blackface, the other dressed in a Ku Klux Klan robe and hood. The photo appeared directly on Northam's personal yearbook page, printed next to his name and personal details. Northam first apologized in a video statement.
Earlier today, I released a statement apologizing for behavior in my past that falls far short of the standard you set for me when you elected me to be your governor.
But there was another problem. Northam's college yearbook from the Virginia Military Institute listed one of his nicknames as Coon Man, a slur he could not explain. At a press conference, Northam reversed himself. He now claimed he was not one of the people in the picture.
When I was confronted with the images yesterday, I was appalled that they appeared on my page, but I believe then and now that I am not either of the people in that photo.
Then the situation became even stranger. Northam strangely admitted that he had once darkened his face with shoe polish to imitate Michael Jackson at a dance contest. The conflicting explanations and the admission of a second blackface incident shocked viewers. Leaders in both parties quickly called for Northam to resign. Civil rights groups joined the chorus. Virginia's Legislative Black Caucus said they felt betrayed. Even Virginia's two U.S. Senators, Mark Warner and Tim Kaine, personally urged him to step down. But Northam refused to resign. He served out the rest of his term as governor. An independent investigation by the McGuire Woods law firm could not conclusively determine who appeared in the photo, but the political damage was already done. Northam became increasingly isolated. He never ran for office again, and the yearbook photo became a lasting reminder that even decades-old images can destroy a political career. Al Franken was a comedian turned Democratic senator from Minnesota. In November 2017, at the height of the Me Too movement, radio host Leanne Tweeden published an op-ed along with a photograph taken during a 2006 USO tour. In the image, Franken is seen grinning while placing his hands over Tweeden's chest as she sleeps on a military transport plane wearing a flak jacket and helmet. Tweeden also accused Franken of forcibly kissing her during a rehearsal for a USO comedy skit. Franken quickly issued an apology, saying he did not remember the rehearsal the same way and that the photo had been intended as a joke. Then he did something unusual. He called for a Senate Ethics Committee investigation into his own conduct. Franken seemed to believe he could weather the storm, but within days, more women came forward. One woman said Franken grabbed her butt at the 2010 Minnesota State Fair. Others described similar incidents at campaign events. Democratic senators grew increasingly anxious. On December 6, 2017, 35 of them, including Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, publicly called for Franken to resign. The next day, Franken announced on the Senate floor that he would step down, though he said some of the allegations were not true.
A couple months ago, I felt that we had entered an important moment in the history of this country. We were finally beginning to listen to women. The moment was long overdue. Then the conversation turned to me. Over the last few weeks, a number of women have come forward to talk about how they felt my actions had affected them. Some of the allegations against me are simply not true. Others I remember very differently. Nevertheless, today I am announcing that in the coming weeks, I will be resigning as a member of the United States Senate.
His resignation took effect on January 2, 2018. In less than 3 weeks, one photograph had helped end a career that once included speculation about a presidential run. Christie was the Republican governor of New Jersey. Known for his brash style and his leadership during Hurricane Sandy, he was in his second term in 2017. That summer, a budget impasse shut down the state government, closing parks and beaches across New Jersey over the 4th of July weekend. On July 2nd, a drone photographer working for NJ.com captured images of Christie sitting in a beach chair on a deserted stretch of Island Beach State Park. The beach had been closed to the public, but Christie and his family were relaxing on the sand near the governor's official residence. Wearing a baseball cap, the governor appeared well-fed, calm, and comfortable. Reporters soon asked whether he had gotten any sun.
No, it didn't, Claude, but go ahead. I didn't get any sun today.
When confronted with the photos, his spokesman argued that the governor had been telling the truth because he had worn a hat. Christie later snapped that anyone who wanted the same privilege could
run for governor, then you can have the residence.
The images enraged many New Jersey residents.
When you see this picture, you're just...
I think it's awful. That just shows that he really doesn't care about the people.
You voted for Governor Christie twice.
Twice, yeah.
And now what do you think in seeing this picture?
It shows a lot of arrogance. I'm kind of embarrassed that he's our governor, and I'm embarrassed that I voted for him.
Even Christie's own lieutenant governor piling on.
It's beyond words. It's insensitive to the people who can't use the park.
The photos quickly went viral and inspired hundreds of memes, inserting Christie into scenes from history and popular films. Already damaged by the Beachgate scandal, Christie's approval ratings plunged to record lows. Though he was already term limited, Beachgate pretty much ended any chance he had at becoming president. His later bid for the 2024 Republican nomination never took off. Krystal Ball was a 28-year-old Democrat running for Congress in Virginia's conservative 1st District in 2010. 6 years earlier, she had attended a friend's Christmas Halloween costume party. Her then-husband wore fuzzy antlers, a shiny chain, and a red reindeer-shaped toy on his nose. In the photos, Ball is seen fondling the toy and pretending to lick it. Another woman does the same in a separate picture. In October 2010, conservative bloggers posted the photos. They spread very quickly online. Krystal Ball's campaign confirmed their authenticity, but at first offered no comment. She soon went on the offensive. On television, she called the attack sexist and outrageous.
You know, it's really interesting because this is really not a new thing. I think for years and years, women have been delegitimized and denigrated by being portrayed as... She wrote an op-ed arguing that women of her generation would end up having embarrassing leaks of their own. She also compared her situation to that of Republican Scott Brown, whose own nude modeling photos had not derailed his Senate bid. On Election Day, she lost to the incumbent Rob Whitman by nearly 30 points. But in a twist, the scandal actually opened media doors. The attention led to a role as a political commentator on MSDNC. While the photos ended her electoral prospects, they propelled her television career. And to this day, she's still relevant, doing a show called Breaking Points. Rob Ford was the populist mayor of Toronto. He promised to end government waste and presented himself as a champion of the little guy. In May 2013, the Toronto Star and Gawker reported that they had seen a video showing Ford smoking from a glass pipe identified as cocaine. A photo also circulated of Ford posing with 3 gang members outside of a house linked to the Dixon Blood Street gang. One of the men, Anthony Smith, was later shot dead outside of the nightclub. Another was arrested in a drug sting. Initially, Ford denied all reports. He called the journalists maggots and insisted he did not use crack cocaine. He remained defiant for months. Then, on November 5th, 2013, Toronto police announced they had recovered the video during a gang investigation. They had been tracking Ford's friend, Sandro Lisi, who was charged with extortion for trying to retrieve the video in exchange for drugs. That same day, Ford admitted he had smoked crack in a drunken stupor.
The mayor told reporters to ask him the question.
You asked me a couple questions, and what were those questions?
Do you smoke cocaine?
Exactly. Yes, I have smoked cocaine.
When,
but
sir?
No, do I? Am I an addict? No.
When have you?
Have I tried it? Probably in one of my drunken stupors.
Weeks later, another video surfaced. He temporarily stepped away to seek rehab, but the public backlash was fierce. A World War II veteran refused to shake Ford's hand, calling him a druggie.
The city council stripped him of his emergency powers and his ability to hire or fire committee chairs. Ford responded by selling bobblehead dolls of himself at City Hall. And through it all, Ford refused to resign. He ran for re-election in 2014, but withdrew after being diagnosed with cancer. His brother ran in his place and lost. Ford returned to the city council and continued to maintain a loyal base, but that crack photo defined his legacy. Rob Ford died in 2016. The full video was released publicly later that same year after the extortion case against his associate ended. It remains a stark example of how a hidden recording can topple a mayor. Thank you for watching and subscribe for weekly videos.